Well, I'll put my sunglasses on.
That's how we're starting the show now. This is what you putting your sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Hello, the internet. I am Josh Allen, aka Lore. Joining me, as usual, Mike B, aka Fony. How are you?
I am able to talk and kind of laugh this week.
Hooray! Not quite so oh, never mind. So, before we get into anything else, I have a very, very important question for you. White and gold or black and blue?
I knew this was coming, and I still didn't I don't know, for some reason, I just spaced it. It was just gone. We stopped it 2 minutes ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 minutes ago, I was like, no, I want to talk about the stupid dress first because I'm going to say something funny.
I know, and it's just oh, yeah, it's gone. It's because I took off my pants. That's why.
Because you took off your dress.
And that's where all my power is in my pants, so it's gone. And so are the last 2 minutes of my life, apparently.
Apparently.
It's obviously black and blue.
It keeps going back and forth for me.
It actually goes back and forth for you?
Yeah, I was at work earlier, and it was totally white and gold. And then I came home, and I was poking around on my computer, and I looked at Twitter, and I saw you tweeting a picture, but I saw that you tweeted the picture of it, and it was totally black and blue. And I was like, what? This is how is what? And then that's exactly the sound that I made too. But then I went and got something to eat and came back and sat back down at my computer and it was white and gold again. Let's see what it is now. It's blue and black again now. Oh, my laundry's done.
Oh, hey.
Forgot that was going.
So that was a pleasure saying you are wrong.
Yeah, apparently.
So I open up I go get a haircut, right? And I'm come home, yeah, I got a new haircut, bitch, what's up? And I'm it's wife's home, hey wife, blah, 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 kids, blah. And then I'm let me check Twitter, and every post is talking about the black and blue, and these are people who I know don't know each other, Right. And I'm why is everybody and it was weird. It was every single person is talking about whatever this is, right? And it's just what the hell's going on? They're arguing over the color of a dress, but nobody's linking the picture, right? So I'm going through, and then that's why I tweeted. It's something it's really internet. We've had net neutrality for a half a day, and we're just abusing the shit out of it. And so
it's a very internet way to celebrate such a thing.
Let's talk about llamas and dresses. So I take the picture. And I look at it, I was okay, I had to Google it, of course, and the internet can't decide what color this is. I was what's fucking blue and black? So I'm looking at it, it's blue and black. I show it to my wife, and my wife, I told my wife, I was everyone's arguing over the color of this dress. It's I feel like they're trolling each other. This is the biggest, flash mob troll, of all time. And I show her, and she laughs, and she goes, it's white and gold. And I'm all yes. I was you're a funny one. And she laughed. I was it's blue and gold. And I said blue and black. And she starts laughing, you're funny. And I'm no, you're funny. And she's no, you're funny. And I was no, I mean, let's be serious. You're trying. And I was oh, you almost had me. No, I'm walking away. I'm no, you almost had me. Nope, you didn't get me. And she's are you serious? Because I'm gonna get mad. I was no, fuck you. I'm gonna get mad. And it turned into this thing.
This stupid dress is gonna end relationships.
And so I had the ultimate idea. I was I'm gonna ask Declan. Declan's sitting there watching Super Mickey Mouse Club, right? Whatever the fuck it's called. And I'm Declan. And I zoom in on the left shoulder of the dress in question. I said, what color is that? And he said, white. And I'm no. And so then I went to the darker area, and I said, what color is that? And he goes, gold. And I'm first off, I was I didn't know you knew the color gold. So good boy, but no.
He was totally just listening to Jen the whole time.
I know.
And just said whatever she said.
And so that at that point, once Declan confirmed, or well, once Declan was wrong, then I knew that there was something up. And so I opened up in like Photoshop and I raised the vibrancy of the, which is essentially a form of saturation, right? The intensities of certain colors. And it made it, to me, it just made it more like a richer, deeper blue. And so then I showed it to Declan and he goes, blue. And I was like, okay, so there's like a threshold here or something between what people see as blue, what people see as white. I don't know. I'm sure, you know what's funny? I'm sure at this point, when people are listening to this, they're so over it.
Yeah. By the time anyone hears this, they're just going to be like, yeah, no, it was obviously blue and black the whole time. I don't know how anybody else could see it any other way. I think the problem with this picture is just, like, it's a shitty picture. So,
yes.
like, it's sort of, what does your brain decide to believe are the colors? Do they want to believe that the blue is actually white and the picture is shitty that way? Or do they want to believe that the gold is actually black and the picture is shitty that way?
Right.
Like, because these are both things that happen in weird lighting taken on cell phone pictures.
Yeah. When I looked at it, the first thing I noticed was that the shot was extremely overexposed.
Yeah.
And so naturally, if I look at a picture that's overexposed, I'm trying to determine the color of something, I'm going to correct it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you could do this in your head. It's not hard, you know?
Yeah. And especially if you're the sort of person that's looked at a lot of shitty cell phone pictures. For example, anyone who's spent more than 5 minutes on the internet, this is something that comes somewhat naturally.
Yeah, exactly. And so for me, it was like, okay, that color in real life is blue, and that one is black. The tone of the light is a tungsten color, so it's closer to like the 3200 yellowish range, which would give anything that's, you know, that has a bright light shining on it, making it, you know, gray. Normally, it would give it a yellowish tone. That's where the gold would be coming from, but it's not the color. And then yeah, my wife was like, well, the type of material that it is would be this and this. I was like, okay, are we just looking at this the wrong way? Like, how is this? Is it not because people are saying it's like your mood or something? Like, oh yeah, whatever mood you're in, blah, 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 spiritually, wherever you're at in life. It's like, what?
What is your zodiac sign that determines the color of this dress?
Clearly. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. It was just like I'm trying to, like, you know, science this thing with like what little science I have, which is just a shitty picture. And Photoshop, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw that tweet where I photoshopped the adaptive GIF coloring scheme. That, to me, like, that just solves the whole thing.
Well, it does, but it doesn't, because at that point all you know is what pictures are contained in the image file. But as we've already discussed, this is a very horribly lit picture of this dress.
Yeah.
So the colors in the image file kind of don't matter if we're attempting to determine what color the dress actually is. And since your brain doesn't care what the image file says the colors are, it wants to try to interpret, what is this thing that I'm looking at? This is a picture of something. What is this picture of? Mm-hmm. It's going to look at it and go, well, no one would ever do this weird, like, lavender blue and like shit brown colored dress.
Your brain's like,
no, nuh-uh. Ain't nobody wearing that.
Exactly. Yes.
This makes me want to go into fashion design so that I can make a stupid lavender blue and shit brown dress and try to sell it to people. Be like, no, it was this the whole time.
So yeah, the image that I posted, it was basically just to show that the data contains a little bit of everything, you know? Like, it doesn't contain black, because the image is overexposed. Like, you're not going to explain that to somebody who doesn't want to look at it that way, you know? If you take it as a smattering of colors, then you're going to see blues, like light shades of blue to dark shades of blue, or medium shades of blue, not necessarily dark. And then you're going to see darker grays and blue and browns and golds. It's like, okay, yes, that's what's in the image. we know because people found the original dress, of course, right? Like on Amazon or something. We know that it's black, blue, and black. Let's just agree to disagree. Let's just agree. No. Let's just agree that we're both looking at it different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and like I said, it's changed colors for me several times now. Like it keeps going, oh, it's blue and black. No, it's white and gold. And now at this point, it looks like stupid periwinkle blue and shit brown to me. So I give up. This is...
I think that it's fair to say periwinkle. I asked Lindsay, because Lindsay was apparently like I don't know, somewhere else today. I was like, I was talking to her about I said, I was like, hey, did you see like the dress thing? She goes, what dress thing? I was like, don't do anything. Take your hands off the keyboard, put your hand on the mouse, and click on this link that I'm giving you right now in Skype. And she opened it up and she's like, okay, it's a dress. I was like, okay, what color is the dress? And she's like, periwinkle and kind of a gold. And I'm like, fuck you. Pick a side. No, but I mean, it's like, I get it. She's okay. So periwinkle, sure. Yeah. The smattering of colors on a thing. Yeah. Okay, I'll take it. Whatever. This whole thing was stupid. It was fucking stupid. And the only reason why people did it was because of net neutrality.
Yes. The only reason that anyone was able to do this was because of net neutrality.
That's right. Imagine if all of your different sciencing of the dress color was throttled by Comcast.
Yes. Comcast came to your house and slowed down Photoshop. But yeah, the FCC vote happened today. That was a big deal. They have successfully, it was a 3-2 vote, which is terrifying.
Party lines, man.
Yeah, but they successfully managed to establish a new open internet order, which basically is a Title II reclassification of internet service.
Yep,
more or less. Which is important. Like we were talking about that a few weeks ago. It's important because it means things like, like Comcast can't do things like say, hey, Netflix, if you want people to actually be able to watch streaming video, then you have to pay us more. Yeah, so that's good news.
Very,
very good news. It's not the end of it, but it is good news. The counter to this is going to be that now, and this has actually happened before. Now what's going to happen is the big cable companies and such are going to come back and be like, no, we're going to go to a lawsuit now that says that the FCC can't do this and they can't reclassify this like this because of the Constitution or something. I don't know exactly how the legal side of it works.
But they're gonna have to overturn phones, man, like landlines back in the day. They're gonna have to overturn copper wire, and that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's the reason why getting the Title II classification is really, really important, because there had been a while ago, there was a something that the FCC had done that was supposed to get rid of, like, to establish net neutrality and make it so that this sort of thing couldn't happen. And Verizon actually filed a lawsuit and was successful in saying, no, because of all of these reasons, the FCC is not allowed to actually do this. So now the FCC has voted to say, basically voted to allow themselves to do it, which is basically the most government thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it means that now they have a much, much stronger case. It's still going to happen. Like the cable companies honestly would be dumb to not try to fight this, because they stand to make so much money if at the expense of net neutrality. But it's going to be a much, much harder battle for them this time around.
Oh, yeah. Especially now that it's like basically on paper that this is net neutrality, and Comcast and whoever else in their cohorts team up to go against net neutrality.
Yeah.
Like it's now it's like such a, I mean, I keep saying, I say now that it's such a big thing because every time this thing reaches another tier, another step, more people know about it. Like, we might think that everyone knows about it, but nah, man. Like, your grandma doesn't know about this. Your mom doesn't know about this. You know, it's like, but once these things get to the level where like the FCC is making actual changes and it becomes like a political thing, like the government is turning something into a utility, that's when like more people are gonna know about this. So yeah, it's interesting. I think the analogy that I like the most is because people are saying, "Oh yeah, well the government's going to be in charge of it now, so what could go wrong then? I mean, the government's never done anything before to screw us." And it's like, yeah, I know the government could be dicks for sure, right?
Yeah.
Let's not forget that the government has also done a lot of cool things in the past too, like abolish slavery and
exactly.
stuff like that. But the example that was given was the electric company. The electric company does not come in your house and tell you that you have to run the microwave at a certain power setting. They don't care. They do not care. As long as you're not breaking any laws, you could pretty much do whatever you want with your electricity.
Yeah, and even then, it's not going to be the electricity company that comes in and says, you're running an illegal bomb in here or something. It's going to be the FBI or like the military showing up and being like, why do you have this? This is not a thing that you should have.
Mm-hmm. But, and I've done zero research into this to know like why this is the way it is. Water is considered a utility, right?
Mm-hmm.
A gas, electric, water. That's pretty much all utility. In I know in Vegas, if you in the middle of summer decide to start running your sprinklers, you could get a ticket.
Yeah, I think that has to do more with like government and like state government or city government ordinances on water usage, because like Vegas is kind of in the middle of a desert. There's been talks about doing the same sort of thing here in SoCal. Because of the drought that's been going on for ages.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, it's been raining recently, so the hills are nice and green again instead of the stupid brown color they've been. Excuse me, black and blue color that they've been since I moved out here.
No, but what was it that like that's what I wanted. That's like the research part. It's like, okay, so what happened or what changed or where? Because is this not outside a loophole, but is this like a thing that can happen on a city level or a district level where you can actually put regulations on something that elsewhere is not regulated? Because I could go to Kansas and water my grass in the middle of the day in the summer, and they probably wouldn't give a shit. I mean, most of the air is water anyways in Kansas in the middle of summer, so it's like,
yeah.
So it's like, what was it that allowed that to happen, and can that be applied elsewhere? Because water is a utility, and now that internet's a utility, what are these loopholes or these things that they're able to do?
I think the big difference there is just that there isn't infinite water. Like the whole reason that these ordinances on water go in place is because of a lack of water. Whereas we're not likely to run out of internet anytime soon.
Yeah. Right, but still, like they still needed. I see what you're saying, and that was just my only example. But I don't know if there's other examples out there that I could use.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally possible.
I don't know.
It's totally possible that there's some random other, like all of a sudden for some reason, Kansas City or something is like, you know what? We've decided we hate net neutrality, and for reasons that are completely unclear, we've decided to abolish it in just our city for some reason.
Because we lack the resources to allow the bandwidth that you are trying to operate on, so we need to throttle it accordingly by disallowing certain services to be operated within certain periods of the day. That sounds like something that would actually be put into motion somewhere. Like somebody would actually say those words.
Yeah, possibly. We will have to see. I think the big thing is that that would be coming from the government and not coming from the cable companies.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a difference when it is a cable provider saying we need to throttle internet access to just these services so that we can make more money off of these other services, versus a entire like, because if for whatever reason there was a sort of problem with infrastructure where the the government decided to step in and say, no, we have to limit the amount of bandwidth that anybody can use. They're not going to be like, we're going to limit the amount of bandwidth that everybody can use unless Netflix pays us another $2,000.
That is a very good point. That is, and I'm totally playing devil's advocate here because, after hearing the whole electric company example, I just remembered, being threatened by cops that I was going to get a ticket because my lawn was being watered in the middle of the day. So it's like that's why I was trying to figure out where that is. But yeah, no, that is a very good point. Like the whole one of the biggest pushes with the neutrality thing is that they can basically bully around companies and make them pay to use their fast lanes.
Yeah,
man, I hope the guy. I can't wait to see what their rebuttal is and what their case is, and how they're gonna try to do something. And
oh yeah, for sure,
it's gonna be another push. Protect net neutrality. It's gonna go on for another 3 years.
Yeah, for sure. But for the time being, we're in a good place. So
yes, I agree.
Yeah. By the way, what is this stupid llama thing? I've been seeing people mentioning that they don't understand why everyone's talking about llamas significantly more than I've actually seen anything about llamas.
So, in Arizona, there are 2 llamas that escaped a zoo or something, right? And they just basically, it was a black one and a white one, and they're basically just running the streets. And I guess because we had a helicopter cam and everything, it was like a freaking car chase, but it was 2 freaking llamas stomping around in the middle of Arizona and just somehow dodging cars and whatever. And the internet just picks things and they just run with it, and it's hilarious. It's I could see myself watching that. The same way that I've, sometimes I'll be working and I'll catch wind of a car chase somewhere, and it might be a 5-minute car chase, but I'll go and I'll watch it, And it's, this guy's in a moving van. He's not gonna go very far, and I'm gonna have that thing running in the corner. It's entertainment, And it's a llama chase. Okay, let's do this. I'm down.
Meanwhile, somewhere else, actual news was happening.
Apparently not. It's funny. It just blew up, and then the dress thing followed, and it's internet is just being so dumb today because it can. It's it's like
it really is the most internet way to celebrate net neutrality. Thanks for the net neutrality, the FCC. Now we're gonna talk about colors of dresses and llamas.
Oh man, it's been a damn good internet day.
So speaking of things blowing up on the internet, there's this game that you were telling me about called Supernova, which by the way is what happens when a star explodes. So that's where that segue is.
That was pretty good. I'd be surprised if somebody didn't know what a supernova was.
Well, I just thought I'd point out the connection.
I appreciate it. Someone out there is like, oh, this one is for you.
Does he mean that supernova is blowing up? I don't understand.
So,
do the llamas blow up?
What color was the super? No, I'm done with that. So
was it a white dwarf or a blue?
Oh Jesus! Shut up. So Bandai Namco, the people who brought us Dark Souls, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and obviously a slew of other titles. They're getting into the MOBA scene. There's already too many MOBAs. There's just it needs to stop. Yeah. But there are MOBAs that come out that they do something different, and sometimes they only catch a niche audience, but the audience is usually relatively happy. Bloodline Champions. That was a really fun game. It was a MOBA still, a battle arena, I guess technically, really. And
It
then
was a MOBA by the
yeah.
the loosest definition of the term. It was a multiplayer online battle arena.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. There's Smite, which started off very niche for like a year and a half, maybe even 2.
At least, yeah.
And is just now really starting to take off after the first World Championships. And I'm so happy for them because that's one that I think is pretty awesome. You do too, right?
Oh yeah, that game is awesome. I every time someone mentions Smite, I go, why the hell don't I play more Smite? What's wrong with me?
I love watching it, man. Like watch it. Well, let's watch a spectator.
Oh, the spectator stuff that they have is so good. It's so good.
And the other one is Air Mech. That's one that you and I played a lot of.
Yeah.
And again, like it didn't do particularly. It's really highly rated. It's just not something that is. It hasn't hit mainstream. It hasn't hit the league or the Dota levels.
Yeah, I think Air Mech's problem was largely. It's just so different from other MOBAs, and it tries to merge. Like I feel like a lot of people, especially early on, playing the original Dota in Warcraft 3, or even what was it, Aeon of Strife in StarCraft.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a huge part of the draw for that was like, I have Warcraft 3. I'm bored of playing an RTS. Here's this other game that now I don't have to pay for. Cool. I'm going to play this other game instead. It's kind of like an RTS, but minus all the base building and controlling
all the
units
work
and shit. Yeah, it's RTS. It's playing an RTS, but minus all the work. And Air Mech was like, but what if we put the work back in?
But
I mean, it's fun, but it's so niche.
It was definitely super niche. I think the other thing that really did it for me too is like it had excellent controller support. Like it had really good controller support.
I think it's coming to PS4 too.
Oh, good. Actually, then
I remember hearing. I'm gonna do a Google search.
Okay.
But I think I remember hearing about that.
I wouldn't be surprised. We're getting a lot of cool games on PS4. So Supernova.
Oh no, it's coming to Xbox 360.
Well, I still have a couple of those. Whatever.
Like very recently coming to Xbox 360. That's kind of strange.
Oh, good.
Anyway,
so Supernova, it's not a straight up MOBA, but it has some very strong MOBA elements. Like if you look at it, if you just look at them playing, and this is what happened. So we got the notice that this was coming, like a week or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And they sent us an invite to this event that happened here in SF. And they didn't tell us anything about the game. They wouldn't tell us shit about the game. And it's like, well, I don't know what I'm coming for, right? Like, we're going to cover the entire event. Okay, so what is it? And they're like, yeah, so we'll see you there. So I'm looking at these tiny little screenshots on the invite, and it's like, okay, isometric. There's a couple of little champions there. Okay, so it's definitely it's a MOBA or some sort because everyone's got the MOBA train. But then on the third screenshot, and again, these things are like 200 by 100 pixels or something stupid. On the third screenshot, there was a ton of units, and it was more units than what you would see in a MOBA. In a MOBA. And so I was like, okay, maybe it's some kind of weird like MOBA RTS like combo. I don't even know. Like it's probably something completely unique and different, and I have no idea what it is. And I get there and they're like, introducing our new MOBA RTS combo, and I'm all like, oh, okay, let's see what happens. And so I hadn't had the opportunity to actually play it myself, but because I was filming the event, but I watched plenty of it, and Lindsay played it, and she's big League player, and it looks pretty interesting. Like I personally like StarCraft 2 more than I like League. I've definitely put more time into StarCraft 2 than I have League, because I do like some of that micromanaging stuff. I mean, I grew up on on Warcraft and Command and Conquer,
yeah.
So and I never really got into like the modding stuff. I always played vanilla. So the way that they get around the whole now you have to actually do work is they just allow you to check a box that says auto army. And so it'll just automatically do that end of it. And you could choose to customize this stuff if you want to. But if you want to just run around and just be a dick with your little champion or your commander, whatever they call him, then yeah, it's commander. Then you can. There's no cash shop. You still love your characters and you get all that stuff. And but you right? Yeah, I think so. And but you don't get. But you instead of a cash shop and buying things to upgrade yourself, you actually do upgrades to and actually change the configuration of your army that you spawn.
It just sort of takes a MOBA and it replaces the like store with like army management.
A barracks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it replaces it with.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of similar to what AirMech did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just it feels much more like a MOBA than AirMech. Like AirMech, the flying element really changed the dynamic of the game
Yeah, that's definitely true.
because you could just basically fold up and just my people need me and just you're gone. And in this game, like you actually have to fight. You have to, if you want to run, you got to run like you do in any other MOBA. Just turn around and click away. Yeah, there's a number. They still have a jungle, and here's the thing: like what they're showing us right now, they said that this is just one map, and they wanted to go with something that was pretty well known, but they have a lot of cool shit that they're going to be adding that they've seen. They said, as an example, they have some unique stuff coming, but they also have things that you've seen in other games that perhaps were only there for like a short period of time and then disappeared. And them being hardcore gamers, they were like, well, we got our own game. Let's just put that in our game. And so that's interesting because, we've seen things come and go with other games, and some things obviously stayed, like, Dominion has stayed. And that's kind of, that's actually my favorite gameplay type, the one that nobody plays. So it looks like a really interesting game. I actually have the launcher open right now. I got the alpha. Of course, I just emailed the dude. I'm like, yo. But yeah, so I'm gonna put some time into it and play it some more. But I'm a little excited about kind of getting into something that is a bit more RTS oriented, and being able to play with that aspect, because I don't like the shop. Honestly, the shop is the one thing that kills me with League, because I know I can auto shop, right? Or do those suggested shop things. But
Yeah.
I feel like that's not very effective.
Yeah, the suggested items in League are just not very good. Like, they
Yeah.
went through and they updated them a bunch a while back, but they updated them to still the wrong items a lot of the time. So
Exactly.
it's like on the one hand, League sort of has the problem of which items you like. If you are this champion, you want to build these items. There really isn't usually a reason to build different items. You might change it up a little bit because you're behind, so you need to get more defensive items so you can stop dying all the time. Or you're ahead, so you can afford to go for some sort of weird snowbally item or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really about the only difference. 99% of the time, you want to buy the same items, no matter what. And they didn't want to go to the length of saying 99% of the time you want to buy these items, because I think they're kind of holding on to the concept of no, it's customizable. You can buy any item you want. I see you there playing Caitlyn. How about some AP? You should get some AP. Play AP Caitlyn. Why not?
That's yeah. No, I totally see what you're saying, and that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. But, like, you look at something like Smite, and it's still sort of like, if you're playing this champion, you're playing this god, you want these items most of the time. But Smite is cool enough that they're just like, okay, yeah, most of the time you want these items on this champion. So we're going to give you a checkbox that says, just make me these items.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
And it works out really well. You can even, like, auto level your skills. And, like, for most of the gods that are in there, that's totally fine. And crazy thing happens as a result of that. I spend more time thinking about playing my character than poking around in the shop and trying to find some sort of advantage that way.
Oh God, I'm gonna port back. Hold on a minute. I'm shopping. Hold on.
Yeah.
Shopping. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll see that I have a bunch of gold, or I'll see that like I'll get low on health and be like, oh, I should go back, and I port back, and it's immediately like, cool, we got you this stuff while you were here. I'm like, thanks, game. I'm gonna go back to actually playing you now, which is nice. And
It is.
I like
nice.
that they have the option of if you just decide for whatever reason, no, I really like this one item, I want to build it first instead of fourth or whatever the thing is doing. Then you can do that. Or if you like you can also buy consumables like potions and stuff on top of whatever the shop is auto buying for you. And you can sort of influence what it's auto buying and stuff, which is nice. So I'm a big fan of the way that Smite approached it. And it sounds like that's what Supernova is doing too. The sort of like, yeah, I don't want to think about this. Just do whatever is a default good baseline for me, and I'll worry about playing the game.
Yeah, and I wish I could speak to exactly where they are, but it's not just like the army. It's like everything. Like you could just have auto whatever, and probably just go in there and just click around and just be a dick, and just play your character. Apparently, right?
Auto character.
Auto care. I know everything except for autopilot for the most part.
They should add that.
But just get it over with. It's so
built-in botting. Take that, hackers.
It looks interesting, you know. I want to play it and just kind of get the gist of it. I don't know if it's gonna resonate well with League players. But here's the thing, right? Like, you know, it's not. This is not, you know, an indie company making a game, right? Like, this is Bandai Namco that is publishing this, and these guys have connections to promote these kinds of things. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they definitely if they ended up getting a bit more traction with the product. And as long as they don't like screw up the cash shop, they should be pretty much in the clear and you know, at least get somewhat of a following. They're very much like open to the whole idea of going esports. I mean, while we were there, they had people casting the event, and it was not too bad. I mean, the people who were playing obviously were terrible. You know, it's a bunch of press guys. They're always bad.
Yeah.
But still, it was interesting to watch, and you know, the abilities and the characters and everything. Like, you know, and the game looks fine. Like, it doesn't look bad. I mean, it looks good. I mean, you know, it's like. It's a freaking MOBA, you know? Like, it's really hard to make a MOBA look bad.
Yeah. Everything is from such a distance in the game that it's like, oh, this tree only has 12 polygons. Well, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, exactly. It's a crosshatch tree. I couldn't tell. I'm fucking 900 meters out.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's, so it's something I'm probably going to log some time into if I get time over the next 2 weeks, which is probably not going to have it.
Yeah, because you're getting ready for GDC and PAX, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
As
unfortunately,
I'm still stuck doing actual work here in.
Hey man, this is work.
Irvine.
It is totally. Yeah. It's work. Yes. Yeah, and it's partying and whatever. But it's like,
No, it is. Like, all joking aside, it is a lot of work to actually go to these conventions when you're going there as someone trying to cover things. And like I remember when I used to, before I worked at Blizzard and I was going to BlizzCon as a fan site, like the first couple times I was there, I was like, I'm gonna be Tank Spot is going to be a major source of news while I'm here. And like we had this like Cover It Live thing set up, and we were like. I was sitting at panels that weren't being streamed so that I could constantly be live blogging from my stupid BlackBerry that I had at the time, like going like crazy trying to update people on what's going on. And then the second year I was like doing the same thing, and I was going, man, so many other sites are doing this now. This seems like no one's actually going to Tank Spot for this. And so the third year that I went to BlizzCon, I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go to the convention and hang out. And have fun at the convention and make a video about how the convention went later. And that was all I did. And I was like, This is so much nicer. And the video actually got more traction than any of the other stuff that I'd done in previous years anyway. So
I know, isn't that freaking hilarious? Just like people, it's funny how that works, man. Like, you know, there's so many sources of news out there that people will just read the headline and they got it. Like, so if you're posting a live blog about stuff, like, people aren't going to read it. You know, only the hardest of hardcore people might do it. But then you post a video and people are just like, yo, yeah, I'll play on this and let's watch it. And you could do a video every day at a convention and get like kind of a daily recap.
Yeah, I actually tried to do that the first year that I was like, no, I'm just gonna do videos, but like my hotel internet couldn't actually upload things.
Oh
so
man, that's the whoa.
Yeah, and I didn't have a laptop that was strong enough to actually like edit things down and make smaller files and stuff. So I just was like, screw it, I'm coming back, and then I'm gonna make a recap video, and we'll be talking about this for several weeks anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, if you're a site like TankSpot at something like BlizzCon, like, sure, yeah, there's definitely people who go to TankSpot who are going to be interested in up-to-the-minute news, but, like, how am I going to compete with a site like WoW Insider or Wowhead or something? Like, especially as TankSpot was by then part of the ZAM network, it was like, I should just be sending people to Wowhead because their coverage is better.
Like, yeah, you're not going to compete with Perk, dude.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So...
Yeah, so oh man. So GDC,
basically you're going to go to GDC and make a video about it after.
Yeah,
No.
so GDC is so GDC and PAX are back to back, which really sucks because GDC is in SF and SF is just far enough away where, especially given the schedule that you usually have when you go to a convention, that I can't come home. It just won't work. Because your appointments and your networking stuff, which is, you know, usually parties, goes well into the night. And I'm not going to go spend, you know, 2 hours of transit time to get home. 2 hours, you know, both ways, in order to go back and forth between home. It's just not going to work. So it's like, okay, so Monday morning, I'm going to, I have family coming here to stay to basically help with, you know, the spawn, and then splitting, I'm going to the city, and you know, we're starting like kind of a couple days early because we have some like management stuff we're going to be doing, which is great. You know, everyone gets together and we talk about things we're going to do on a company level, on a network level, and kind of get everything written in stone. And then of course we have like sandwiches and stuff, which is kind of neat. And then
food is kind of neat.
Yeah. And then Wednesday, the first day where the convention floor actually opens, we're basically gonna like dive in there, and Lindsay and I are gonna basically camp the Valve booth to try to get our hands on some of the Steam VR goodness and the new controller.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty big deal.
I'm really interested in learning more about the controller. Like the concept that they showed of it ages ago, I was like, this seems like it could be cool or the stupidest idea ever. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about what they're actually doing with that thing.
Yeah. Hopefully we could get some neat video done, and you know, if we have a couple other things too planned, but GDC is a really good. I mean, watching every convention, you could basically just roam the floor and just do cool stuff. But GDC, because it's so hardware heavy, I feel, compared to obviously PAX.
Which is funny because it's game developers conference, but it's so hardware heavy.
There's a lot of hardware stuff that shows up there. PAX is just like the most hard. It's funny, the hardware you see at PAX is like retro games, like retro consoles.
Check it out. Check out my original VHS tape size Game Boy.
Sega CD, bitches. You ain't seen one of these in real life. What's up? So we're gonna be pretty light on GDC coverage in general, but then, like, you know, of course there's parties and things to go to Wednesday night, and then Thursday morning at like 7 a.m. I have to catch a train down to SFO, and Lindsay and I both have to get down there and catch a plane. And it's like like it was like 10 or 11 o'clock, and we're gonna arrive at like 8 o'clock over there in Boston. Ugh. I mean, the time changes adds like obviously 3 hours, but
Yeah.
and it's gonna be fucking snowing. or icy or snow. There's gonna be snow on the ground. I don't know what, but I don't own a jacket. I don't have a jacket, man. I have to go buy. I was actually just today. I was wearing my Matterhorns. Matterhorns are military issue cold weather boots. They look like regular military boots, black, I guess, hands. But they have like a sleeve, kind of a booty, I guess you could say, that you put on your foot that insulates it. Yeah,
that booty
on your foot. And then you slide into the bigger boot. And it's kind of neat because it gives you these giant, like crazy Judge Dredd style like feet. And they're not light, and so you're kind of tromping around all over the place. And I was wearing them today, and it's just like, Jesus, I don't want to have to take these with me, but I'm stalling, man. I don't want to have to go and buy like a jacket just for Boston, but I'm gonna have to.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty cold there. Dude, I was in England, and like I've only been living in SoCal for like 3 months shy of 2 years at this point. And I came from Michigan, in the summer, but like still from Michigan, where it gets actually cold, like negatives Fahrenheit cold. It's pretty cold. And I went to England, and it was in like the 40s, and I was just freezing. Like I was like, this is the coldest I have ever been in my entire life.
Was it windy?
What is wrong with me? No, it was just like my blood thinned so rapidly after having spent a year in SoCal that my body was just like, we don't even know what to do with this anymore. You're just going to die now. It's like, oh my God, like now I understand why it can be 72 degrees outside. It can be 78 degrees outside, and I see people walking around wearing hoodies and long pants and combat boots and shit like that. Because they've been here long enough that 78 degrees is cold for some reason.
Oh man. See, look, I'm looking at it right now. The 2015 Boston Snowpocalypse from above. This is published today. It says you truly can't appreciate 100 inches and counting of snow in Boston until you see it from above.
Wow.
Like, I feel like I get sometimes a little too worked up about flying sometimes. I don't have a fear of flying, but
you just have a fear of the plane falling apart.
Yeah,
while you're in it.
It's that.
You know what they say? It's not the fall that kills you; it's the sudden stop at the end.
It's that chaos spiral that happens where you're like, I'm just playing some FTL on my iPad. Oh, I cut off your air supply. Oh, what happens if there's like a chip in the plane and we all fall to our death? And it's just like it's completely like I could just chew bubble gum and maybe just ignore it. I don't know, but with snow, like I'm sure I know I'm completely unfamiliar with snow. All right, I grew up in the desert. It snowed there once in the decade and a half that I was there. One time, and it lasted until noon. And that was it. It was over. It was melted. So I've played in the snow like 3 times, I think, in my life. And then I jumped back in the car and everything was fine. I don't know what to do, man. I seriously am worried. I'm like, I don't know.
It's literally just cold rain. Everything that you do, like as a normal average person, everything that you do when it's raining, you also do when it's snowing.
All right.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Like, snow is as someone who grew up in snow. Like,
And it sounds like such stupid questions as someone that grew up in snow, I'm sure. But like you don't get wet, right? I mean, I imagine
No, you
if you. Oh, you do.
yeah, if it's snowing like crazy and it gets all over you, and then you go inside and it'll melt and you'll get
Okay.
wet.
Oh yeah. I figured. I mean, it's not like some
Or
indestructible.
if you're
flake.
like, if you don't have like watertight boots and you're like tromping around in the snow, then your feet will get wet. It's not like it's not. It's still water. It doesn't become dry.
Because I know. It's like, well, how cold does it have to be? Like if I'm tromping around in snow, I get that. That makes sense. Like if snow falls into my shoe, okay. These sound like really dumb questions, but like honestly,
well, like the thing is that you are a human being that is hopefully warmer than the snow is. So
yeah,
as soon as it touches you, it's going to melt.
It's going to melt. All right, so what's the so if I just buy like a nice big jacket, I'll be fine, right? My hotel's like a mile away, so
yeah, you'll be fine.
Okay,
like
cool.
Honestly, the bigger thing is just staying warm. Like dress in layers, you'll be fine.
Layers. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like a big jacket is not layers.
No. You'll want to wear like I used to wear a undershirt, like a white undershirt, and then my actual t-shirt. And then a hoodie, just like indoors, to stay warm. And then if I went outside, over top of my hoodie, I had a leather jacket that I would wear.
Damn.
And that's relatively light compared. Like you could go and get like a big fluffy snow jacket if you really wanted, and then you would never be cold at all ever. But really, like honestly, what I would recommend: take what you have, go to Boston with it. And then when you get there, figure out how cold you are, and then buy a jacket in Boston based on that.
I mean, that sounds like a good idea.
Like you'll be like, God damn, it's cold. Oh, biggest jacket possible.
I know, right? It's funny, like the. I'm trying to think back to all the times I've been in like the coldest weather that I could imagine. And there's really only like a couple situations. And both times I've basically been underdressed for it. So it's it's like when I was in the military, we were stationed in Hawaii, and then we go to Louisiana, which I did not think would ever get cold, ever. I would not think Louisiana, cold place, right?
Well, it'll get colder than Hawaii.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. It's like we're out there and we're wearing like our kind of our long johns, our polypros, and it's the middle of the night and we're basically staging vehicles, and there's wind, of course, and so the guy said that it was like 13 degrees with wind chill and like 30 degrees otherwise. We were taking our polypro pants and we were cutting them up to make gaiters, which I don't even know if that's what the civilian world calls them, but basically it's kind of like a scarf. You just basically pull this thing up over you take the leg, you chop it, right? And then you pull it over your head.
Yeah. I've got something like that somewhere.
It turns into like a ski mask, except for the part where your foot sticks out is like on top of your head, like a top knot.
Yeah, and that's actually a good thing to remember to get as well, is a scarf and a hat. Like something to cover your neck, something to cover your head and your ears. And then you'll be nice and warm.
I'm so happy you mentioned that because I was not even thinking about that. I was just thinking, you know what?
In the middle of your conversation about cutting these things up to make a scarf thing, you're like, oh yeah, maybe I should.
I've just been so ill prepared for that. And the thing is, like when it was cold in Vegas, and Vegas does get pretty cold, right? Especially in the morning. It's like this biting, chilly cold because and my logic was there's no trees, so the wind is allowed to run rampant, And so there's nothing to stop the wind. And so it's always like the wind chill is always really bad in the winter. And I remember standing out at the bus stop, and I was freezing. And the best way to keep warm was basically we just stand there and all the dudes, we just put our hands on our nuts. And that we would just stand there waiting for the bus with our arms pulled into our sleeves, into our shirt, and into our pants, and just put our hands on our dicks. And that was how we stayed warm as fucking middle schoolers. Because we were grown-ups, and that got me through that. But I don't think I could do that while I'm carrying equipment. I can't just walk around with my hand on my dick the whole time.
Also at 39 or however old you are.
39? Holy shit! Wow, man, that's this is the worst. Like, you can't even round up to that. Holy crap, dude.
Well, I was gonna guess like 31 because I'm 31. So I was gonna guess there, but then I was like, wait, I should be a dick. Oh shit! But I've already said 30, so I'm now limited in how much of a dick I can
That's
be.
the highest I could go in the 30s. Gee, I'm not even close to that. God, I appreciate it though.
No problem.
Yeah. So yeah, while we're there, we're going to PAX. I don't know if I mentioned that part. We're
Not just going to Boston for no reason.
yeah, exactly.
Going there to see the snow and go, oh man, am I glad I don't live where this happens.
There's somebody listening to this. There's probably a lot of these somebodies. They're listening to this and they're like, this fucking Californian dude. Like these fucking California guys. Well,
Yeah.
not guys, because you clearly have already lived this.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and it's gonna be rough because it's like it's 8 days away. It's basically it's 8 full days away from family and everything, but and work. That's like the worst. Well, the family part is obviously really bad. That's just it's this is assumed that that's part of it, right? But on top of that, being gone from work for that long, nobody understands that maybe they should resolve some of this stuff on their own.
Yeah.
Like some of this we work with a lot of third parties, and some of these guys, they just keep saying, hey, just following up, see if you got my last email. Don't mean to bombard you, but just wonder if you got my last email. It's like, I'm not here.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was on vacation for a month in England, I was still checking my work email every day because I was like, I do not want to come back to 2,000 unread emails. Like, this whole vacation will be ruined if I go back to work and there's 2,000 unread emails.
I know, it'll be, I'll never take a vacation again.
Yeah, exactly. So, convention coming up that I am very much looking forward to.
Really? Oh.
So TwitchCon apparently is a thing. They had their little announcement thing. Oh my god, this did you see the announcement stream that they had?
I missed it.
Okay, so
gone.
it's DJ Wheat sitting there with a couple Twitch people I didn't recognize. It was like their Twitch Weekly show that they do.
Yeah, we does it.
Yeah. And they're like, okay, it's time to finally make our big announcement. And like half of the people, if not more, in the chat room were like there because someone had tweeted, oh, Twitch is about to make that big announcement, but didn't actually have any idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So like we were all in there going, oh, I guess they're announcing something. That's cool, I guess. What is this show? I've never heard of it before. And they're like, it's time to make our big announcement. And then they're like, all right. On Amazon, you can now buy the purple Twitch hoodies. And I was like, shortly thereafter, they were like, no, we were trolling. That was not our announcement at all. But it was like the sort of thing that coming from Twitch was entirely too believable. So I was like, okay, you guys, seriously, I get that you decided you wanted to try to troll people, but maybe don't. Maybe you've been pretty bad in the past with your bullshit announcements, Twitch. Maybe don't pull out another bullshit announcement. And the worst part was then a whole ton of people were like, "Oh, you mean I can't buy the purple Twitch hoodie because there's no way to get them otherwise." And so people were like, "Oh, actually, yeah, that is a really big announcement to me. I'm really excited for this." So all they really managed to do was piss off two camps of people. And I don't know that anybody actually found it funny. But regardless, they then announced that they're having TwitchCon in San Francisco in September, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And there was someone, I wish I could remember who tweeted this. Somebody tweeted this, and it's been the most accurate description of my personal reaction to the idea of a TwitchCon ever. Someone said something to the effect, oh, like TwitchCon, yes. Because whenever I go on Twitch and look in the chat room, I think to myself, I'd like to meet these people.
Oh man, I know.
Seriously, like, okay, Twitch, you're like, they're trying to become a big. So I guess, what do you think? Because like my whole thought with this whole TwitchCon thing is that it's Twitch trying to make themselves a like bigger presence in the overall gaming industry. Like they don't want to just be a vehicle for people to entertain other people. They're like trying to make a PAX or something.
Yeah. So,
Like,
I definitely think it's. I think it'll work. I've seen worse things actually catch on.
yeah,
Minecon, for example.
yeah.
VidCon, another example.
Oh, I hope they have a ball pit at TwitchCon, which is an inflatable pool with like 4 balls in it.
I want.
I'm gonna sign up for VIP access so I can get an extra hour in the ball pit.
What I want to see is like the like Kappa and various emoticons like on giant. I mean, at BlizzCon
Yeah.
they have the giant like heroes like poster thing that hangs out the big banner that hangs on the front of the building. I just want to see a giant like Kappa and a giant just like everybody.
So like BlizzCon, like every year, they like make a new statue or something, and like last year it was Grommash, and they've had Tyrael and Kerrigan and Illidan and all sorts of characters. There should just be every year there's a new statue at TwitchCon, and they should start with just this giant Kappa head. You walk in the door and it's just sort of staring at you, and you're just like, well,
With that smug look on his face.
yeah, this is about how my weekend's gonna go.
There's a lot of. I mean, so I think it'll work. Because they have the personalities to support it. A lot of these people that are going to be going to this thing are, they look up to these people the same way that people look up to YouTubers, right? I thought VidCon when it first was announced, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a wreck. Like it's not gonna work out. But I gave it the benefit of the doubt because Minecon happened and it was pretty successful. Turns out VidCon. I mean, I'm going to VidCon, so because I see the value in it, and I was actually gonna go last year and I just barely missed it. And I think last year was the second. This is the third year. So yeah, I'm going this year to VidCon. I'm definitely gonna go to TwitchCon. I've learned my lesson. These things are pretty valuable.
Yeah.
It's you're not gonna really. I mean, yeah. It's pretty hilarious, the whole like chat thing. Like I want to meet these people. Obviously, yeah. It's not like that in real life, of course. But it's kind of neat to be able to go
I
there.
honestly, sorry not to interrupt, but I honestly legitimately want to meet some of the people who are like that in chat, just so I can just be like have some sort of, what are you like in real life?
I know, right? I need to set my gauge correctly. I need to
Yeah.
I need to calibrate this thing. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's I think it's gonna be fun. Like I mean, first off, it's right here in SF, so it's super easy for me to get to. Everyone's gonna be there. Like everybody that I see at all the other events. I mean, like every time I go to any PAX, right? Yeah, like pretty much any PAX or any, sometimes E3. But like JP, I see JP. I see obviously Towley. Occasionally, I'll see Tool Biscuit somewhere. But so it's like like you see these people everywhere. So now it's like, well, here's a place where. Even though some of these people aren't necessarily dedicated Twitch streamers, like Total Biscuit, obviously more YouTube oriented than he is Twitch. He still streams, but still, it's like this is gonna be a place where all these personalities can come and kind of and just mingle and just talk. And I think it's cool. It's a cool opportunity for people to meet these celebrities, and it's also a good place to network. For me, from a business perspective. Network with some of these people and talk, business and ideas and things that people have on their minds. And yeah.
Yeah, I totally hadn't thought of it from that angle, actually. Like, I was thinking of it more as, like, now Twitch is going to invite out NVIDIA and Razer and all of these vendors and stuff who are going to show up and give their little presentations at TwitchCon about, like, is TwitchCon now a new place for people to make announcements other than PAX and GDC and stuff like that?
Right.
But I hadn't really thought about it from the perspective of, like, no, let's just have a place where streamers go and hang out with their audiences for a while. Like, that could actually be really super cool. And, like, streamers can meet other streamers and stuff.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, that could actually be a really good, like, especially if they have like panels and stuff that are like how cool would it be to have a panel that is I don't know, Lyric and Howley and a couple of other people that have like become big names through doing pretty much nothing but streaming, and some YouTube on the side, but mostly just streaming, and have them talk about their experiences and like talking, like being on stage, having conversations with each other. I think that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Like there could be panels that are like that, like a little bit more kind of kind of just generally oriented. But they're also, this is an opportunity for like SOE or Bohemia to reach out to players of their games, like H1Z1, of course, AZ, and get those, like, get Sacriel up there with with Lyric and with maybe even Shizzle or something. Like, get these guys up there to talk about their experiences with getting within the game, and with basically how to build their popularity based off of that. There's a lot of stuff you can learn from it. From especially if you're somebody who's looking to get into streaming, which pretty much everybody is. Like, I would say 3 years ago, people were desperately trying to make it big on YouTube, and now YouTube is basically where your VODs live, and everyone's trying to make it big on Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, and like that's been an interesting transition as well, and I think that largely just comes from the rise of subscribers as a way to make money for more people. Mm-hmm. Like, it used to be that you wanted to be famous on YouTube over being famous on Twitch because YouTube had better CPMs, like, and better residual income through YouTube.
Yeah.
Now YouTube is pretty much just there for the residual income, and you want to be big on Twitch because if you can get 1,000 subscribers, like, that's a pretty damn good amount of the income right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It's like $2,500 a month.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, you got to pay taxes, but still.
Yeah, of course, but still, it's just like
that's more than I ever made in Michigan.
It's right. And depending where you live, like that's a pretty substantial amount of money. $2,000. It'll be fun, man. Like, I really hope that people like embrace it and they come out and they check it out, because there's BlizzCon is the only other place where you could really get a bunch of like-minded people together. Like, PAX is quite a bit of an assortment, I think. E3, there's no like community there.
Yeah.
I feel like right now it's pretty much just like BlizzCon, and previously with SOE Live, that's pretty much gone. Well, I mean, I think. But yeah, this could be just like another really good, very large niche community event. Oh, I guess Minecon. I should include Minecon, of course.
Yeah. Well, and there's lots of other little cons that happen. Like, there's the what is it? The furry fiesta that a bunch of people have done recently.
No, you're right. Yeah, there's
tons of little conventions, but none of them that have quite such a big name behind them.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go?
I'm gonna try to. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, you should, that'd be awesome. You actually come out. Have you?
I've never been to San Francisco. No.
Oh, okay.
So, my 99% of my experience with San Francisco is the intro to Dress to Kill, which was the stand-up routine that Eddie Izzard did. And if you've never seen it, have you ever seen that?
I think I have. It's just like really old, isn't it?
It's pretty old, but it's like a bunch of random stock footage of San Francisco and like the what are they called, the trolleys, and like random shots of Alcatraz, and he's just going like, Alcatraz. Here we see a prisoner transport being taken to Alcatraz.
Yeah, man, it's a neat city to come down and check out. I'll show you around.
For sure.
I mean, you could come any other time. You don't have to wait for some event to come down,
Well, I might as well kill two birds with one trip.
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can lump you in with this.
I know, exactly. It's a combo deal or nothing.
No, like I've actually been wanting to go up by San Francisco for a while. Cause you're up there and it'd be cool to hang out.
Right.
Chris Hannell and Jasmine Roshak just moved up there as well, not too long ago.
I don't qualify them as up here.
Yeah,
they're like up here.
Yeah, they're like north of San Francisco.
Yeah.
But they're in that, like, it's closer than Irvine.
You're right. Yeah, you're totally right. Notably.
Yeah, and like I used to hang out with them all the time when they were still down here, and now I haven't seen them in a while. It's like my friends moved away, so I got to go up there and visit them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's really another reason. It's pretty much just
also, I want to see the Golden Gate Bridge.
It's not that interesting.
Well, see, I'm from a place in Michigan. We have the Mackinac Bridge, and I was always told that the Mackinac Bridge was this really cool bridge. So I like to compare it to other bridges, and I'm sure the Golden Gate Bridge is cooler, but I want to know how much cooler it is.
Oh my god.
Not really. No, I've made all of this up. That's just how my brain. This is how I make segues.
I thought there was a segue going somewhere.
Yeah, no, not even a little bit. There was a bridge that went nowhere.